Lovely starshine lights my way to bed. Magic rainbows glisten in my head. Just like a child, I live in Wonderland. All my dreams are coming true.
Hi, and welcome to Handmade by Dixie Tulip. I'm Mel, and thanks for stopping by. In today's video, I'm going to share the completed Kelly Anorak closet core patterns. Kelly Anorak. I've shared little snippets of it over my past few videos, but I appreciate you may not have seen those. But I've now finished the jacket, which I absolutely love, but it was certainly a challenge. So here's the finished jacket. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's beautiful on. It's this wonderful waxed cotton on the outside, and then this gorgeous mustard floral lining. It's got a hood, which is fully lined as well. It's got the drawstring at the waist. It fastens up with these snaps. And then it's got these lovely deep pockets as well. I've worn this quite a bit already because we have had a little bit of rain, and it's kept me nice and dry and nice and warm as well. So yeah, I absolutely love the completed jacket, but this was by no stretch of the imagination an easy make, and I did find a few problems with the pattern, which I thought was me making mistakes, but I've since found there's been quite a lot of talk. I'm not sure if you've seen over on Instagram, but there's been quite a lot of talk of problems with the pattern, so it may not have all been my mistakes. It may have been some issues, which closet core patterns are apparently auditing the pattern instructions and looking to put things right, so that's good that they're taking action based on the feedback that they've received, but I wanted to share with you my experiences. So I've made some notes. I've actually set up a little sewing diary, an electronic sewing diary on the iPad, and what I'm doing is keeping a record now of the things that I make, any kind of hints and tips, any struggles I've had with the pattern, and also trying to keep a cost of expenditure, what each garment is costing to make as well. So you'll see me referring to my iPad, and I'll put a little snippet in the video as well, so you can see what I've put in the diary. So in summary, as I've just said, the Kelly Anorak, I really love the end result, but this took absolutely ages to make. I'd say I'm quite an experienced sewer now, but there were some of the instructions which just didn't make any sense to me at all, and I really struggled with them. Yeah, it wasn't the best instructions, which is quite surprising because closet core patterns I find normally are quite good instructions, but I had some problems with this one. So starting with the supplies and costs, I was absolutely astounded when I priced up what everything had cost here. So this jacket, as much as I do love it, it cost me £141.25 in materials, which I was absolutely astounded by. This is the first time I've really fully costed up a big project like that, and I was quite angry, if I'm honest, because I thought that's just a really ridiculous amount really, for materials. If you cost on top of that, you know, how many hours it's taken to make it. I'm quite angry that you see coats being sold in the shops, even designer coats, you know, at around that price. So something's happening there. Either we're paying a lot more for the materials and things as home sewers, or people are being paid next to nothing for making the garments. So let me just run through first of all what the supplies cost. However, I have got some good news for you, because I've since found out that the company that makes this fabric, Millerain, do now sell retail at a fraction of the cost of what I paid for the materials, and they've sent me some samples, so I'll be sharing some of those with you as well. So the main sewing pattern then, that cost me around £13. You have to buy a separate lining sewing pattern, which was £6. The waxed cotton fabric I got from Guthrie and Garney, at £28.50 per metre, and I needed 2.3 metres, so that was £65.55, which I think is outstanding. The lining fabric is cotton lawn, and that was £15 a metre, and I needed 1.85 metres, so that was £27.75. The zip, just the zip alone, was £7.70. For the hardware, we actually shared the cost because there was a few of us that were making the jacket at the same time, so we brought kind of big, larger sets and then split the cost. So it was about £3 for press studs, £5.51 for the cord stops, and about £2 for the eyelet, so that's £10.51. Thread, so the cottons, I brought 2 reels at £1.95 each, so that was £3.90. And then the drawstring to pull it in at the waist was £6.84, so a total of £141.25. So the biggest part of that cost was the waxed cotton, and it is lovely quality. It's made by Millerain here in the UK. But as I said, if you buy directly from Millerain themselves, it's less than half price. So when I make this coat again, which I will, now I've established this, it will bring the cost right down. I'll share more about these at the end because I need to go on the website so I can tell you the different prices. So what I love and what I would do differently on this make. So what I love is the fabric is super quality and it makes the coat feel very expensive. At the time I wrote that, I hadn't totted up what it cost, so actually it perhaps feels about as expensive as it cost. I like the contrast between the main fabric and the lining. I think they complement each other well. The zipper looks great quality and very professional. I love the pockets with the flap fasten. So the pocket was actually an add-on pattern that's free on Closet Core Patterns website. So I really like the flap detail. I think that just finishes it off really well. Where was I? Oh yeah, I like the drawstring and I think that gives the waist a lovely shape, so it's optional whether you add a drawstring or not, but I think it just gives the coat a nice feminine shape. The fit was great, the sleeve lengths were just right, the hem length was just right, and I didn't need to make any adjustments to the pattern at all, which was great. I like the large hood, I've used that when I've been out in it in the rain. My top stitching turned out nice and even, which is great, and I like the hardware is good quality, so we brought kind of prim hardware. You could get it cheaper, but seeing as I was paying so much for the fabric and things for the coat, I thought I would go for good quality hardware as well. The things that I would do differently if I was going to make this jacket again, I'd line the sleeves with silk or something slippery rather than cotton. So it does go on and off okay, but I think it would be much smoother to put on and off if I lined the sleeves in more of a silky fabric. Somebody did actually mention that to me on one of my earlier videos, but it was too late. I'd already constructed the lining, but I would definitely do that differently next time. I'd look to add an inside pocket. I found I'm missing an inside pocket when I'm wearing it, so that's something that I would do. And there's a couple of areas of the pattern that I struggled with, so I'd spend more time sussing out what went wrong to put that right on the second attempt. Hints and tips. So starting with some hints and tips on working with the waxed fabric itself. So I used a walking foot. I found that helped to evenly sew the fabric and it reduced skip stitches. When I was cutting out the pattern pieces from this main waxed cotton, I cut it out by drawing around the pattern pieces with chalk rather than using pins. Number one, because I didn't want to leave pinholes, but number two, it's really tough fabric and it can be quite painful on your hands putting in lots of pins. Once the pattern pieces have been cut out of the fabric, what I would definitely suggest is marking the waxed side of the fabric in some way, because once you come to actually sew, it can be quite difficult to tell which is the right side and which is the wrong side of the fabric. So just put a little chalk mark or something like that on. Once you've cut out the pattern pieces, store them flat to avoid any marks or creases that can be difficult to get out. I didn't use any interfacing, and thank God I didn't, because that would have pushed that cost up even more. But I found because this fabric is quite stiff anyway, I didn't need to use any interfacing, and I don't feel like the jacket needs any in any areas. I used wonder clips rather than pins. I think I've got a couple here in case you're not familiar with them. So if you're not familiar with wonder clips, whoops, it's these little plastic clips, and I found they were much gentler on your hands, and it held the fabric together much better than pins. And then of course you wouldn't get pinholes either by using those. And if you don't have wonder clips and you do need to use pins, then what I would say is make sure you keep the pins in the seam allowance areas so that you haven't got any pinholes on the main fabric. Some general tips. So I would, once you've cut out the different pattern pieces, I'd label them with the letter of the pattern piece, because you can find as you're going through the instructions there's lots of different pattern pieces that you're working with, and you're stumbling around trying to find, well, which piece is that? So I'd use some kind of labelling system, maybe stick a post-it note on it or something like that, so you know which pattern pieces are which. Thoroughly read the instructions of each step before you sew it. As I said, there has been some issues with some of the steps in the pattern, but hopefully that will be being put right through the audit that Closet Core Patterns are completing. Set mini goals I found helped. So I was sewing this jacket with a friend. We were doing it via video sewing sessions, and we kind of set little goals on how much we wanted to do in each session, and that just helped to keep it manageable. And then use high quality hardware to main the high quality finish. So looking at which areas of the pattern that I struggled with, first of all is the neck facing. So this area here, I found the instructions quite complicated in that area, and that is because the diagram that it shows you is how it looks once it's finished and once it's been stitched together. It's not how you place the two pattern pieces together for stitching. So I'd misunderstood that and then wondered why the hell isn't this fitting together. So just keep an eye out for that section of the pattern. What you're actually looking to do initially is you've got the curve of the collar and the longest curve of the facing. So you've kind of got a curve that goes that way and a curve that goes that way sitting together. And that's how you stitch them, and then you flip it over to the right side. The hood, so I found that when I came to attach the hood lining, it was way too big. It was much bigger than the neckline that I needed to attach it to. So the way that I had to rectify that was to add a few gathering stitches. Let's just see if you can see. Oh, the sun's shining in. So I left them in there so that I could show you. I will remove them. I'd got a few hand gathering stitches to gather it so that it would fit. So I thought that I'd done something wrong when attaching that hood. However, that is one of the areas that I've read that lots of people have had problems with. And even when I reviewed the sew along on Closet Core Patterns website, they'd had a problem with the hood lining fitting in as well. So it may well be that that is one of the areas of the pattern that's incorrect. So hopefully that will be rectified. And then I really struggled with the hems. But unfortunately, I've not been able to work out where I went wrong, so I can't tell you what I did. what I did wrong and how to put that right. When I looked at the instructions, it looked pretty straightforward, but I just found that I just couldn't get it together in the same way. So perhaps if you are making this, just pay extra care when you're sewing the bottom hem areas. So here is where I mean, because I just found it just didn't work. And what I've had to do is hand sew it, and it looked a little bit scruffy, so to cover it up I've added some labels. I'll just show you on each side just to cover that up. And I'll call it a design feature. So they were the main areas that I struggled with. So yeah, that's it. Hopefully there was some useful information in there for you if you are thinking of giving this pattern a go, but also fingers crossed that closet core patterns do make the instructions better, so you wouldn't have some of the same problems that I experienced as well. So what I'm going to do now is just show you some of these millerain samples. I'm just going to go onto the website so I can give you the costing. Okay, so the website that you go to is shop.britishmillerain.com, and I did email them to check that they do sell to retail and not just wholesale, and they do, but it's a minimum 3 metre order if you do buy the fabric from them. So I'm just on the website now, so I'm just going into the apparel section. And there's different types of wax that you can get. My jacket is made from a wax called Stay Wax, and it's the Sahara range. And this is a machine washable wax, which is great because I've got a designer wax jacket which I can't wash, and I'm gonna have to send it off somewhere specialist to get it washed and re-waxed. Whereas with this, you can wash it. So it's the Sahara. So the Sahara is £14.40 per metre instead of £28.50, which is what I paid for it from the retail store. So a great saving. Minimum 3 metres, and the way that it works is you've got different weights. So you've got 4 ounce, 6 ounce, 8 ounce and 10 ounce. So if I show you some of these samples. So this one is the 8 ounce. I'm not sure whether you're going to be able to see much difference between the widths on the camera, but you can see there's some beautiful colours. And it's quite a dry, it's got quite a dry feel to it, so you can feel the wax, but it is quite dry, which is great. So yeah, this one is the Stay Wax Sahara 8, and it's 148 centimetres wide. This next one is the Sahara 4, which is, I might try some of this for this is much more lightweight, and you can see there it's slightly sheer, a much lighter weight feel to it. But I was thinking that would be great for a summer anorak type jacket, one that I wouldn't line, and I really love this turquoise colour, so that may be what I will try next. So there's the different shades of that one. A nice navy at the back. This one is the Sahara 6. I think my coat must have been the Sahara 8 because it does feel like one of the thicker ones. So this is the Sahara 6, so like an in-between of the two that I've shown you so far. Again with the lovely colours. Lots of nice browns for autumn. So yeah, that one's the Sahara 6. These ones are another Sahara 6, but these are actually in a tartan pattern, so I really like these as well. So you've got like a grey tartan, greens, blues and browns, deep browns, lighter brown, and that's lovely, blues and greens. So that is the Sahara 6 weight, but in tartan. Not sure if they're the same price, I'll check in a second. The tartan's £15.60 a metre. This next one is a different range. This isn't the Sahara, this is the cambric, which is a lower cost. It's £9.60 a metre. And this is a water resistant finish. Again, it can be machine washed. And those are the colours in that one. So I'm not sure if these are not waxed finished. Maybe, I'm not sure. But if you go on the website anyway, this one is the cambric. They feel a bit softer than the other ones. And this final one is again different. This one is the Ranger range. This is called Ranger 6. This is £10.80 a metre, and it says this one's an ultra dry waxed cotton with the added benefit of being machine washable. This one feels quite stiff. Hopefully you can see the difference. It does feel much more rigid than the others. Again, with some lovely colours. Look at that blue, that's gorgeous. So yeah, I'll leave a link anyway in the video notes and have a look at the different, the full details on the different ranges. But I think definitely I'm going to try next a lightweight Anorak style jacket. I'll probably use this same pattern so I'm getting my money's worth, but make it unlined in this lightweight turquoise one. Or maybe even one of those tartan ones, because I really like that as well. But yeah, that's definitely going to cut the costs down, which is great. So as I mentioned at the beginning, Closet Core Patterns are currently auditing the pattern following issues being raised. I want to say a huge thank you to Bianca of Sleepless in Bavaria over on Instagram, because it was her that raised the concerns about the pattern, and that has led to really just showing that being honest and saying what problems you've had with the patterns gives the pattern company an opportunity to put things right. Yeah, she did raise all the issues that she'd had and how frustrating it was that she'd spent so much time and effort and cost and just couldn't get some of the areas right. Closet Core Patterns have taken action. They have, not sure if it's back up yet, but they did remove the lining pattern so that they could spend the time reviewing it before putting it back up for sale. It may be back up for sale by the time this video goes out. I'm not sure if it is at the moment, but yes, thank you, Bianca, for raising the concerns with Closet Core Patterns, because that is going to help so many other people going forward when they come to make it, because the instructions will be much better. I think there's a wasp flying around at me, so if I run off squealing in a minute, that's why. So that's it, that's all I wanted to share today. A bit of a long video because there was lots of information to go through about the jacket. Just some other updates. I've been doing a lot of sewing actually over the last few weeks. So some things that will be coming up soon is part 2 of the Little Mini Elephant tutorial. That will be coming up very soon. I have at long last finished my pink linen Jessica blazer, so I'll be sharing some more details about that. And I've finished my bright pink cord Jenny trousers, so I'll be sharing some more information about that as well. So yeah, definitely back in the sewing game at the moment. I had a bit of a iffy moment where I went off it, but I'm back in the sewing game, so I'll be sharing lots of things with you going forward. Any questions at all about the pattern or this make, do leave it in the comments below. Other than that, if you have made it and you want to share any links to any blog posts, photos, anything like that, feel free so we can all check them out. And that's it. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you very soon. Bye.